welcome to Inside the Video Store, episode 100. Woohoo! I didn't know what to do this week, but I figured, well, why don't we do a kind of video diary to show how boring my weekly life is? So I thought, well, the show went out last night, number 99, on Friday evening at 5 p.m. Good viewership so far, lots of great comments, lots of people after Swamp Thing in 4K UHD. So I thought, right, tomorrow morning, even though it's far too early, it's 9:45. Who gets up at 9:45 in the morning? I thought I'll do a daily kind of video to kind of keep you abreast of what goes on in the boring life of a video store in 2026. So it's 9:45 Saturday morning. First job today, busiest day of the week, is to do the social media post. It's the first thing that comes into my head every single day, because I got told years and years and years ago by someone who was really good at social media for a small business that as long as you post once a day in a really effective, open manner, then that should bring you some momentum and enable you to gather a good social media following. I reckon that's true. So far, Snips is on around about 10,200 followers across all the social media. And we get some really good interactions, to be honest. So Saturday, some days decide themselves. Monday is new release day, so we do what new releases are coming out. Wednesday is stack day, when we show the stack of films that have come in. But today, Saturday, is about the big message. The big message. It has to be a really wide shot. So I'm going to do a really wide shot of this corner down here. Then I'm going to do a strong 2 or 3 word message. Today's is, but everything's online. Because that's the kind of narrative I get fed by people walking past and nudging each other and saying, everything's online. Stupid. Everything's online. And as you well know, I'm preaching to the converted, but that couldn't be farther from the truth. So it's just trying to lure those people, the undecideds. It's like you're running for election, and you're always trying to lure the undecideds that haven't gone to any political party. The ones who are thinking, not really getting enough out of Netflix, but what options are there? And because no one looks for a video store in 2026, because they'd have to be certifiable, then it's about bringing a message out and saying, well, look, this is what we got here. There's no membership, there's no late fees. You don't have to bring the film back the next day. And everything isn't online. Here you have choice. So I'm going to take some pics, write a very passionate message about renting movies, and then that's the first job for today. But we need to get ready to open as well. Coffee, important. Yeah, coffee is important on Saturdays like this. I know you're interested, so I'm going to tell you today's first incense flavor is cinnamon apple. Cinnamon apple. Thoroughly recommended. It's just going on for 11 o'clock at Snips Movies on a Saturday morning. At the first few customers in, someone did a really good suggestion. They said, oh, why don't you speak to customers as they're coming in through the week? But it's a great idea, but it just entails a lot of issues. Like I have music playing all the time. I couldn't have that music echoed on YouTube, as they would flag me for copyright infringement. So I'd have to start the music. People would come in and kind of see a camera and they'd be, oof. I want people to come in and relax and feel comfortable and not have any stress. So I decided not to do that because I don't want to impinge on people's sort of privacy and browsing and calmness. And that's what this place should be. It should be a sanctuary. So yeah, Neil's just been in, which is always good to see. This is what people are renting. You see, this is the good thing, you see, that I don't have to do a fun on loan segment this week, because here we are in action. So yeah, Neil has rented, well, Fallon has rented, Neil's son has rented The Dentist 2, which I love dearly. A Dentist with Corbin Bernsen, of course. He's also rented To Dracula, a Daughter from the Hammer section, so that's over there somewhere. For himself, he's still on his indie binge, which I know a lot of people are keeping track of. And he has rented some very, very fine movies this week. I shot Andy Warhol, Love in the 45, Lonesome Jim, Junebug, which I love dearly, A Light Quartet, and also the great Philip Seymour Hoffman in Jack Goes Boating. Another customer in the meantime rented A Long Walk on Blu-ray, and then just now I've had a customer called Dave in, and he's rented Snowden, new Jurassic World, and he's also taken a chance on the new Jackie Chan film, which are all really eager to see whether it's any good. So yeah, we've got the incense going above Fred, All and Ray, and alongside Jane, Silent Bob, and yeah, Saturday continues. The video store consensus has always been to browse. Browsing is the thing, the key. There's another confused person outside. Barry, however, Barry is just about to embark upon the 47-mile trek from Macclesfield to rent his stash of movies for the weekend. Barry normally likes to mail in his order, which is fine because, you know, if he gets delayed, then things are away for him. But the main film he's after this week is The Puffy Chair, which is really cool to see. So that's down in our Mumblecore section, just here somewhere. There we go. So we'll grab that for Barry. He also wanted Jackie Chan in The Shadow's Edge, but as you know, that has just gone out on loan, so I had to break that to him. Mondo Macabro, he's a massive, massive fan, so he's after the new title from them. Was it Argentinian? Was it Spanish? Spanish film, I Hate My Body, which looks like an absolute riot. And he's after House Party from Criterion, which is pretty cool. It's out on loan, but I have a sneaking suspicion that that is just the Blu-ray. Let's have a look. Let's just have a look. Yeah. So Barry's 4K ready, so I can get that ready for him. But yeah, not everyone likes to browse. And every method of requesting a film is very acceptable. So the postman has been, which is always a pretty cool thing. So we can go through our post, which will save some time doing the What's in the Box segment on Wednesday. I had a weird comment. As you know, a couple of minutes ago, I mentioned about the big Facebook and Instagram post of the day, with it being Saturday. Unfortunately, when you get more and more and more followers, you tend to have nitpickers, more and more nitpickers. And I happened to put in the post. You know, at Snips Movies, we take pride in enabling easy access to 20,000 films. Because it's true, because anyone can walk in here, no membership, and pick one of 20,000 titles and go home. Easy access. However, of course, as you can see, you get people coming and say, well, actually, I don't live near you, so I don't have easy access unless you do rental by post. Like, no, I know that. I know I have followers in America who don't have easy access, but most of my followers are local, so you have to speak to them. You can't have, you know, disclaimers with every single aspect of whatever you say, because it just gets nuts. But people take things so literally, it takes up time replying to people like that, which is crazy. It's time you don't have. So what do we got? Well, we have finally the last of this week's new releases, which is Save the Green Planet on 4K UHD. I was just talking to Mark, who was just in there, and we're kind of a little bit baffled as to what to expect with this. We both didn't see it when it first came out, but hey, Save the Green Planet in on 4K UHD, which is also on Mark. Took some really great films. He rented Plague of Zombies. He rented Robin Hood with Errol Flynn, and he went to the Duval section above the counter for Get Low, which I really do recommend, and I hope that he likes it. So yeah, we have the remainder of the new Celine Sciamma section. This is her first film. It's Water Lilies. So I have to pay over the odds for this because it's not streaming. It's only on DVD. But hey, it's important to have it. It's an important film. So that's her first film. Really excited to have that in. It's really awkward filming on a Saturday because you have customers. God's sake, you know, people. More True Stories, unfortunately for you. Mimi Rogers in A Blink of an Eye. Mortal Fear with Gregory Harrison, and Against Their Will with Stacey Keach. More True Stories. That's pretty cool. More True Stories again. In A Place for Annie with Sissy Spacek. very quality. Ultimate Betrayal with Ali Sheedy, although Ali is spelled correctly on this cover, not on another true story I have. Now, this is an interesting one. I think I mentioned on last week's show that TV movies are really going to gain some traction over the next few years. And one of the podcasts I listened to referenced two notable TV movies from the end of the 90s, both disaster movies, which are both good fun. And I didn't have either. It was, of course, Tornado with Bruce Campbell. Tornado with Bruce Campbell from 1996. Immense fun. I think I'm going to take this home tonight and have a little look at it because I love films like this. L.Q. Jones is in it as well, and Ernie Hudson. Brilliant stuff, so I can't wait for that. And also Asteroid. Asteroid, directed by Bradford May, who I think, well, did a lot of TV movies, but also directed Darkman 2 and 3. Michael Biehn is in this alongside Annabella Sciorra. More true stories in this package as well, with Love is Strange with Ron Silver, and Gene Smart stars in Change of Heart. That's pretty much the end of the TV movies now. I've got around about 80 or 85 TV movies, so that is plenty. And today's final delivery is off the amazing Strange Vice. If you haven't shopped at Strange Vice, do so, strangevice.co.uk. They're fantastic. They're based in Scotland. It's getting trickier and trickier to import films. You have to pay more and more import duty. And it's just a fortune. I'm only doing it now maybe 3 or 4 times a year. I've got a parcel waiting to ship, but I'm just trying to pack it out so I can get ready for money. But Strange Vice do import big quantities of films. You know, I'm talking 13, 14 copies of some titles. And they don't charge the earth. This is from MVD, part of the Rewind collection. It's their new release. This isn't out until Tuesday, but Strange Vice have it early. So great company, brilliant shipping, brilliant packaging. I can't recommend them highly enough. Yeah, Force 5, it's directed by Robert Clouse, who of course did Enter the Dragon. Joe Lewis is in it. Master Bong is in it. And yeah, I've never seen this, but it looks like great fun. 1981. So yeah, Force 5. That is the post done. I've got a load of rentals there that need putting out. It's just gone 1 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. It's been really, really busy so far, which is fantastic. People sometimes ask me, do you close for lunch? I do not close for lunch. It is homemade sandwich on the go. So I'm going to have probably my 5th cup of coffee, sandwich on the go, and we'll get most of these on the shelf because we don't have to wait and stack them here till Wednesday because we're doing this on the go. Good. Saturday afternoon ticks along. More movies going out on loan. I'm just going to sort out everything that's come in. Obviously, priorities, true stories have all been switched to clear cases because it's that kind of attention to detail that I can't resist, really. I have to have certain things with certain colored cases because I don't have undiagnosed ADHD or OCD. I'm sure of it. Anyway, just have my good friends Tom and Jude in, 2 of my most regular renters. They're both 20. I mean, look at this. Look at this stack for 2 20-year-old fellas. You know, you got an Alan Clark film. I think Tom went for the first disc in this set, so he's gone for The Last Train Through Harecastle Tunnel and Sovereign's Company. A Woman Under the Influence, again, out on loan. Honestly, I think some of you think I make this up, but this film, week in, week out, brilliant. They're both going through a bit of a Fellini patch at the moment, as 20-year-old gentlemen do. So Tom, no, I think Jude rented La Dolce Vita, and Tom rented Roma, which is just awesome to see. Then Jude is having, at 20 years of age, his first Mario Bava experience with Blood and Black Lace, which I think is awesome. And then we finish things off with Tom renting John Ford's My Darling Clementine. Because what did he bring back? What did he bring back? He brought back Rio Bravo from Masters of Cinema, and he's really going head first into some classic westerns, which is really amazing to see. I just had a couple of mainstream films renting out, like Reval Lurks, the new Nicolas Cage film, Elio, Wonder Park for the kids, Wallace Island, Eddington. And now it's, a bit of peace and quiet, because it's absolutely pissing down outside, I think. So it might give me a little bit of respite for, a little bit of respite for 20 minutes or so. I can clear the decks and get ready for phase 2 of Saturday. Okay, we're cooking on gas. It is just coming up to 3:53 on Saturday afternoon. It's been pretty nuts today. I mean, it's not about the money, but it is about the money essentially. But rental revenue today, in 5 hours and 50 minutes of being open, is more money than I used to take in a week consistently for about 5 or 6 years. So, just for context, that's how nuts this whole endeavor has gone, which is brilliant. So just to update you, Barry has been in, and he's added to his stash of films with some more Mondo films, Sexomania, and also The Horrible Sexy Vampire. And he's got some Eric Roma as well. Paul Griggs and his wife Kath have just been in. Paul has started on the Zatoichi box set. They were all very, very excited. And his wife has gone for In Like Flint and Armand Flint, which I know they're really looking forward to. Rubber has gone out on loan again, which is really, really cool. Brain Dead has gone out again because that's a really popular movie, Peter Jackson's film. And then some more kind of generic new releases like the Bob Dylan movie, A Complete Unknown, Nosferatu, and Jurassic World Rebirth. Also had time to set up the Celine Sciamma section up there, and that will be my social media post for tomorrow. So I sometimes don't do a Sunday post, and I should do, because it's a real high traffic day. I normally take that as my day off from social media, but if I can, it really is worth the effort in doing something on a Sunday, because it does get a fair degree of traction. So I thought, well, let's do something quite niche and quite unusual, and let's highlight the new Celine Sciamma section, which I think will bring in some good people. And yeah, that's where we are on Saturday afternoon, and it's dark. It's just heading past 6:30 on a Saturday evening at Snips, winding down for the day, nearly done. I'll just fill you in on the last 8 or 9 customers who have been in the past hour, renting some very, very cool things indeed. James has just been in to rent the Joe Christ anthology, which is fantastic, and a Blu-ray of Memories, the anime film. Also telling me about he's just been down to the Nickel in London, where he saw Naked Killer. So that's like really, really cool. And he brought pictures, and just mega. So cool to live sort of vicariously through other people's experiences or things like that. And he said it was just an absolutely wild time. We need a nickel in Merseyside. Oh dear. I've got this really lovely customer who comes in with her son, and her son, I don't know, he's maybe 13 or 14. And they've just been through Twin Peaks, Firewalk with Me, which I think was not ideal viewing for like a teen of that age. Renting Videodrome tonight, and I'm like, do you know what, maybe this isn't like the right film for him? And I say, oh no, he's fine. He's just seen Gummo. I'm like, oh god. So hey, what can I do? I can advise, but I can't deny. Then one of my customers is another customer is going through a Kagemusha, going through a Kurosawa binge at the moment. So they've rented Kagemusha on DVD because they only have a DVD player. Another one of my customers are going through the IMDb Top 100. I think they're on a 6th week now of venturing through that. So this week they're on 25th Hour, Lost in Translation, and Eternal Sunshine. So it's a really cool endeavor, to be honest. And things aren't necessarily always hitting for them. They rented Tree of Life last week, and they didn't like it, which is outrageous, quite frankly. I love that film. And then we had another customer renting Neverending Story and Sonic. One of my customers, Leon, was in renting Spinal Tap 2, and he took both Freeway films on 4K UHD, which is going to be a great night's entertainment. Then lovely Andrew was in, getting a quartet for the week with a handful of Criterions in Blowout, which he's watching for the first time. How amazing is that going to be? History of Violence, again, he's watching for the first time. An amazing experience. Stalker. I mean, this is a hell of a quartet in terms of cinephilia. And Thief by Michael Mann. So that's an amazing quartet of movies. And then we had Dominic just in renting this fine stack of films that include Targets with Boris Karloff. You've got Todd Solondz Wiener Dog in there, some Russ Meyer, Hills Have Eyes. He rented The Exterminating Angel by Buñuel, and I gave him a freebie of the Roger Ebert documentary Life Itself, as we were talking about how Ebert was writing smut for Russ Meyer, but he was also a quite conservative seeming film critic. So that's where we are. That's where we are at the moment. Don't forget that Paul Griggs is appearing in Going Postal, which is playing at the Little Theatre in Birkenhead in April, if anyone's local. That's pretty much winded down for Saturday. Oh, what a day. It has been a nutty Saturday. One of the best. And it's been great to see so many people, especially on a quite a grisly, rainy day like today. So I've got probably about 20 minutes left to run. So I'm just going to tidy up, put some films away, and make sure we're ready for tomorrow, which thankfully for you will be a far shorter video. I will see you Sunday. Well, hey, there we go. That's the end of Sunday. That's the end of Sunday for you. A mercifully short Sunday video, which we will keep to the relatively concise timescale of 5 minutes, because I think that's absolutely fine. What's the funny thing about Sundays? I mean, I was just saying to Roxy before when she was in with Paddy, I said Sundays used to be the day, like a tumbleweed day. Sundays were literally a tumbleweed day where nothing of any interest would happen. It would just be a catch-up day. Obviously, some things don't change. It is catch-up to some degree. Invoices are printed off. All the kind of nuts and bolts of running a small business. Invoices are printed off. The old Excel spreadsheets of accounts are filled in. You need to kind of reconcile that all your numbers add up, because when they go into the accountant in about 3 months' time, you want to be sure you don't get a phone call to say, well, where is this invoice, or where has this money gone on, Zatoichi box sets, etc. So Sunday is very much the day of making sure that the week's business is all wrapped up in terms of numbers and paperwork and all above board, as they say. But lately, whereas you could kind of take your time on that, it's very much now condensed to the end of the evening, because Sundays are pretty nuts. I mean, this is kind of a snapshot of some of today's business, and it is kind of crazy on a Sunday, really, because people say to me, well, you only open a short period of time on a Sunday from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., which compared to 5 days a week when you're open 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., it seems strange, especially on a Sunday. But like I say, Sunday traditionally has always been a day for returning films, and kind of that's about it. But now it's very much a day where people are ready to pounce at 4 p.m. and come in and rent a stash, which is great. Would I ever change that short period of opening? Well, I don't think I would, because that's been like it is for 30 years. And it kind of works. No one really says, oh, I wish you were open earlier on a Sunday. And I like Sunday as my catch-up day at home for doing stuff. Otherwise, I would never get anything done whatsoever. So I really, for myself, I do need that catch-up time for chores and such like, and boring things like shopping. So yeah, although it would be tempting, and although it would be beneficial in the long term, maybe to open earlier, maybe at midday on a Sunday, I don't think I am in a position to do that really. So we'll leave it as it is. We will leave it as it is. And so far, people tend to accept it. But we've had some good rentals tonight. Let me take you through them. What's been renting? I know you're keen to know. Well, Ben has been in. Ben rented The Green Ray from Eric Romer a few days back, and it absolutely rocked his world. So he came in tonight and he rented another 3 Eric Romer films, which is fantastic. So that's good to see. My good friend Jim has been in from the Isle of Man, just round the corner, just round the corner. Got the boat, got the train, walked 20 minutes from the Isle of Man to rent some movies. True story. Literally, he has landed from if you're not in the UK, the Isle of Man is like a separate island off. It's way off the coast of like northern Britain, and it is a bit of a trek to get here. But he came today and rented a stack of films as he's staying over here for a week or so. And I like the fact that Snips is his first stop. It's like, oh, I have friends to see, I have things to do. But my first stop must be Snips Movies. He rented Shock Treatment, which he's never seen. He's going to watch it with his friend, I think. And I'm interested to see, because Shock Treatment is a weird entity, isn't it? I watched it when I was a kid. As a kid, I was obsessed with Rocky Horror. And I watched this, and I thought, oh, it's going to be Rocky Horror 2. And it's not Rocky Horror 2. It's the furthest sort of thing from that. But it's so good. It is so good. It's really grown on me over time. And the soundtrack is a beast. He has seen Grey Gardens multiple times, but he wants to kind of watch it again, especially with these Masters of Cinema special features. So that's cool. The non-camp picks of a Madonna movie and a Cher movie. No comment. But yeah, this is like a great ugly cry movie, isn't it? That is great for an ugly cry. And of course, Poultrygeist. One of my favorite films of all time. I get nervous when people rent this because it is a bit of a weird one. But I reckon he'll kind of enjoy it, to be honest. Who rented those? Dan was in. Rented The Crow, Forbidden Planet, Boston Strangler. As I said, Roxy and Paddy were just renting some really cool movies as well, like Straight Time with Dustin Hoffman, Kelly Reichardt, A Certain Women, The Power of Darkness, the Argentinian film from Mondo that came in last week, Danny Dyer, Doghouse, and Michael Finley's Flesh trilogy, which I reckon they'll really get a kick out of. What else went in? Mickey 17 went out on loan to Pete. Young lady fancied doing the double bill of Longlegs and the Bad Guys, which is a double bill made in heaven, quite frankly. A bit of a mainstream threesome there in The Monkey, Spinal Tap 2, Nosferatu. I Swear, The Life is Chuck, and Caught Stealing all had a rent tonight. A Callum came in who brought Birth back, and he said he was absolutely blown away by Birth. So it's really, really cool. I'm so pleased that I've discovered it this year, but I'm so pleased that other people are now discovering through its release on the Criterion Collection. But he's gone for Bugonia. Twixt from Coppola, which is a bold move. And I Saw the Devil, which is just an absolutely stunning piece of work by Kim Ji-woon. A couple of other things that went out today. Percy Jackson and Jay came in. Yeah, We Bury the Dead, which has kind of got mediocre reviews from the people I've seen renting it on Letterboxd. A great Danny Aiello film called Dinner Rush, which I'm really, really fond of. I don't think this is rented out for 20 years. So it's cool to see this stretching its legs. And Air America which I did not have in my Snips Movies bingo card today. So great. So that is awesome. I've got to put these away now before I go home. I don't like to let things hang around till the next day because I find that a bit disconcerting when you come in, you want a clean slate. So I'm just going to finish doing these squeaky chair. I'm going to finish doing my accounts, and that is kind of a short Sunday done and dusted. Tomorrow, yeah, we're going to do some banking. That's exciting. See you tomorrow. Too early for this. Give me 5 minutes. Good morning. We're out and about at an ungodly hour. 9:33. Who is out and about at this time? It's outrageous. We're journeying into Heswall, which is a little village in Wirral, about 4 miles from Snips Movies, to do some banking. This is kind of a pilgrimage for me every Monday morning, really. Heswall it's known for a number of things. It is considered to be, I think it was voted the 7th wealthiest postcode in the UK, which is outrageous. It's the birthplace of John Peel and Andy McCluskey from OMD. I could do guided tours, couldn't I? And it's also my birthplace. Although I must insist that my mum and dad moved here way before it was considered affluent. You know, my mum and dad moved here in 1976 and paid pennies for what was a fairly okay house, but they built and extended it and extended it and extended it. And yeah, so Monday morning is like a pilgrimage, really. This is my childhood home that we're passing just now. There we go. And it's weird. Yeah, I think since it's sold, it's weird passing it, and it kind of, yeah, I feel as though like a duty to pass it, just to kind of, tip the hat. After all, that was the house in which I was born. It was the house in which my mum died. It was the house in which my dad died. So it's got some kind of resonance to me. But then again, I'm not emotionally attached to it, I wouldn't say. So yeah, so coming to the bank every Monday morning is like a pilgrimage. Past the old house, past the old places, and just generally visit old haunts. It's about a 10-minute drive. We get to drive past the house of John Barnes, which you can see now, and his skip outside. John Barnes has a new skip pretty much every week, which is, I don't know what he puts in there, quite frankly. But unfortunately, this pilgrimage is about to end in the next few weeks because, as is the case with many things, my bank is closing. And that kind of feels like a kick in the nuts, quite frankly. I think when you run a small business, you need that moment of finality, that punctuation mark to the end of the week where you can take your takings to someone in authority and say, hey, there we go, that's what I've done, that's my accomplishment this week. And I think when you remove that and you do everything online, and now whatever little bit of cash I have, I can deposit in the co-op via the Lloyds Bank app. It just seems again we're running down that road whereby we just don't want to see people anymore. We just don't want to see people. It's bad enough going to the bank and you're ushered into the automatic teller, away from the people. Oh, don't speak to the people, go to the automatic machine. So it's a bit sad, really. So I think we've got a few weeks left doing this pilgrimage over to Heswall every Monday morning. And after that, I guess it's, eradicating a few more weekly conversations out of my life, which is a shame, really. Because I enjoy it. I enjoy getting out. I enjoy seeing different things. I enjoy meeting different people. But hey, it's what we want, isn't it? We don't want to interact with anybody. We don't want to see people. We don't want to share moments. We want to just live in a box and never ever leave it. It's quite sad. And it's one of the things that really does spur me on with Snips, in order to encourage more and more people to engage and come out of themselves and meet new people. So yeah, I'm going to park up. I'm going to see my bank teller for one of the last few times, and yeah, this is my Monday morning. Monday. It is a bustling Monday at Snips. Welcome to the store. Hope you enjoyed that out on tour bit that we did before. It's a big week. It is a big week. This is the biggest single week of outlay on new release movies for over 20 years, 25 years maybe. A vast amount of money, over budget, but that's okay, because the next 2 weeks are fairly quiet, so we can kind of pull it back that week. Why is it so over budget? Well, it's the last week of the month, which for some reason always collates the major titles. We have a notable contemporary release in Predator Badlands. Then we have a wealth of boutique releases. And normally in the boutique releases, at the end of each month, you get one box set. Today we get 4 box sets, which all need to be acquired in some way, because they all have an audience waiting to rent them. There's a Takashi Issue box set from Third Window, for example, £60. There's a Swordsman Zen box set from Eureka, £60. There's a Japanese Godfathers box set from Radiance, £40. There's a reissue of the Lars von Trier, controversially, reissue of the Lars von Trier box set from Curzon, which is £90. That's £250 on 4 titles, which is crazy. Customer. Woo! So it's a big week for new releases, but it's one that I have to support, because I think when you're in this position and you're doing all right, I think you have to support the films. 2, you have to support the distributors, and 3, you have to prove a point to people that this is the place where you can get everything. So that's the challenge, and I think this week is the template for doing that. So let's get ordering some films and get ready to salivate. Welcome to Tuesday. I kind of like Tuesdays because it's probably my most free day in work. Essentially, all I have to do today is wait for a couple of boxes of new release titles. Unfortunately, and typically, a handful of those haven't shipped on time. So we're looking at Excalibur being a few days late. We're looking at the Zen box set from Eureka being a few days late, and the other Arrow title as well, Westworld, being a few days late, which is really annoying. But hey, such is life. Yeah, so it's a bit of a free day, really. As many of you know, I have another commitment, which is theschlockpit.com, the website I created and curate with Matty Budrewicz. We've been running it for 10 years now, and I think last month we published our 1000th article. I always say to young writers and people who want to get into the business, get a blog, get a website, pay for a WordPress website. It's like £6 a month. And just have everything you write in one place, so anyone can go through it and see, right, I understand. It's your identity. So with the Schlock Pit, we have gradually built this database of reviews of lesser known films. Like today I've got to write an essay Because last week I did a Zoom session with a really interesting European director by the name of Jan Verheyen. And I like interviewing European directors because they tend to be less cautious than many American directors. So it was full of F-bombs and sort of jaw-dropping opinion. But it was great. He directed a film 30 years ago called The Little Death. Pamela Gidley is in it, Pamela Gidley and the late J.T. Walsh. It's a decent neo-noir / erotic thriller. But yeah, so I've transcribed the interview that I did with him, so I'm just going to put that together with my thoughts on the film and a bit of history regarding its release. And then we can publish that on the Schlock Pit later this week. Really, really enjoyed doing it. I love digging up these films that have just disappeared, because we are living in an era where 30 years ago, it's not long ago, 30 years ago, we had this cottage industry of a film business that were making films especially for places like this. They wouldn't go anywhere else. They didn't go theatrical. They just went to places like this. And so many of those films have been left on video. They've never graduated beyond VHS. They've never come to DVD or Blu-ray. And they're just lost. They're just forgotten about. And I said to Jan when I interviewed him, he said, well, why the hell are you doing this? This is a film I don't even think about. I try not to think about it. It's a horrible experience. And I said, well, Jan, you made this film. It exists. It doesn't matter how good it is, how bad it is, what you think about it. The fact is, it should be documented from a historical perspective. It's really, really important. We need to document art and document the fact that it exists, irrespective of the quality. And that's really, really important. So that's what I'm going to do. So yeah, there's absolutely nothing to do, which is great. Exciting life. So I'm going to plunk my ass on a chair. I'm going to type up this essay. And then hopefully we should get some new releases to show you throughout the day. Okay, and you join me again on Tuesday. The new releases are here. Yeah, we're 3 missing, but we know that, don't we? But it's a fairly sedate afternoon at Snips. We've been having a Villagers afternoon. You ever heard of the Villagers? Great band, Irish. Fever Dreams is one of their most recent albums. Thoroughly recommended. So we've been listening to Villagers, and we've been having a good time. Rock and roll. So the stash of new releases are in. Cellophane is off. They are just about to be put onto the database, because that's pretty much the first thing I do. As soon as the cellophane comes off, onto the database, because I need a routine with that. Otherwise, I don't want things going on the shop floor that aren't logged on the database. Otherwise, chaos ensues. Store's open, so I could well be interrupted during this, but let's see how we do. Lead title of the week is the new Predator movie, Predator Badlands. I think a few of you have seen this, and the consensus seems to be generally and genuinely mixed. Dan Trachtenberg directed it. I can't remember the last time I saw a Predator movie, to be honest. It's been a while. But yeah, I thought, I believe it's probably on some Disney Plus, but nevertheless, I think it's still worth 2 Blu-rays and a DVD. So there we go with Predator Badlands. Sticking with the contemporaries, we have Emma Thompson in Dead of Winter. Looks like an interesting little movie, to be honest. She plays a widowed fisherwoman traveling alone who interrupts the kidnapping of a teenage girl. Sounds intriguing. It's got some good reviews. Brian Kirk directed it, and I've picked it up on Blu-ray. From Second Sight, we have The Ugly Stepsister. The Ugly Stepsister, a Norwegian film that looks to have made its debut on Shudder. It has the rarity of being an 18 certificate. You don't get many of these today. I like the artwork. I like its impact. I don't know much about it, but I think that may well be the best thing to do regarding that film going into it. Our sole DVD pickup of the week is Hellfire. It's the new film by Isaac Florentine, who I insist is one of the best action movie directors of the last 20, 25, 30 years. unbelievable action movies he's directed. This kind of has a very familiar story. A drifter wanders into a southern town ruled by a corrupt sheriff, but you have a great people in there. Stephen Lang is in it, Dolph Lundgren is in it, and Harvey Keitel is in it. So, you cannot ignore a Harvey film, surely. That's Hellfire. Onto the boutiques, which are just amazing. The latest release from Second Run, which I do believe they put out on DVD a few years back, is Knights of the Teutonic Order. Kind of described as the first Polish historical blockbuster. It's a 3-hour epic, and it was selected by Martin Scorsese as being one of the best films in Polish history. Again, Martin Scorsese features on this one. Strong Room, filmed by Vernon Sewell. I think this is on the list that Martin Scorsese gave to Edgar Wright to watch through lockdown of best British films. And then Edgar Wright recommended to Quentin Tarantino. I forget the chain of command, but it's a very, very highly thought of film, and was previously only available on a quite rare DVD that I paid a fortune for. But hey, Blu-ray is in. It's from BFI, and we also got the bonus of The Man in the Back Seat as well, another taut thriller from Vernon Sewell that features many of Strong Room's cast and crew. Yorgos Lanthimos is very much the man of the moment at the moment. It's great to see one of his early films out on Blu-ray, and that's Dogtooth, released by Vision's Home Video, who of course have been busy lately putting out things like Dogma on Blu-ray. With Radiance, they have two slimline regular releases, which is Iphigenia, and Radiance are considered to be kind of dipping between France and Japan in terms of their releases, with Italy featuring as well. This is a Greek release, though, a Greek film, which is really cool, to be honest. A masterpiece of epic Greek storytelling from the director of Zorba the Greek. Nice to get films in from different countries. Libido is in, which is the very first film by the iconic screenwriter Ernesto Gastaldi, who of course directed the horrible Dr. Hitchcock. And this dates back to 1965, very much a proto-giallo. And it's described quite spectacularly as a gothic psychosexual thriller. So that looks fantastic. That's in from Radiance. From 88 Films this week, we have Picture of a Nymph. A visually rich masterpiece of Hong Kong cinema that captures the eternal struggle between passion, sacrifice, and destiny. It's a lavish-looking box set that looks spectacular. The latest release from Transmission is here, which is phenomenal. Remember, they put out Night of the Juggler quite recently, and now we have The Stuntman, Richard Rush, and his stunning film with Peter O'Toole finally gets a good UK release. Well, it's beyond good. It is an outstanding UK release. Dual format, 4K UHD and Blu-ray. Transmission Films are doing the business. Very impressive stuff indeed. And finally, 3 box sets to look at, which are Takashi Ishii and the Angel Guts collection, with Red Classroom, Red Porno, Red Vertigo, Red Flash, just a lot of red. I don't know much about these films. All I know is I don't know how they passed through the BBFC. Great to see them, though. Really good to see them on home video in the UK. That's the Takashi Ishii Angel Guts collection. Finally, from Radiance, we have the Japanese Godfather trilogy. 3 films by Sadao Nakajima. Epics, all in excess of 2 hours in duration, all made between 1977 and 1978. And the true story of Japan's largest crime syndicate. That is the Japanese Godfather trilogy. And finally, we have this beast. It's a reissue, and it's a controversial reissue. It is the Lars von Trier Curzon collection. It was put out last year, but it was missing a film, and a key film at that. Which one was it? I think it was... it wasn't Dogville, was it? It wasn't The Idiot. Dance from the Dark was missing. Now Dance from the Dark is here. It's re-released at a competitive price far cheaper than it was last year, and people are in revolt over it. But don't be in revolt, just support Curzon because they're doing some good stuff. But here we have an orgy of films by Lars von Trier. If he is your thing, if he is your cup of tea. And yeah, it doesn't quite have the lavish cloth-bound exterior of your first-time Curzon collections, but it is still a very impressive piece of work. So there we have it. This week's new releases. An epic stash that defies belief, quite frankly. But there we go. All available now at your local movie rental store. That's your lot. 6:56. 4 minutes early. The end of my working week. We'll flip the sign. And we'll lock the door. And we'll say, yep, that's it. Because my working week, of course, starts on a Thursday. That is, you know, my Monday, effectively. And Tuesday is effectively my Friday. So today is Friday night. It's time to party. No, it's not. Of course it's not. But as a week as a whole, it's been a great week. Day off tomorrow. Woohoo! Except it's never a day off, is it? However, I don't have to do inside the video store, which is quite nice. I know you'll be sad to hear that, but it is quite nice because, you know, sometimes you're working all day on a Wednesday on your day off, and then you've got to go into work to sit there for another hour and a half and do a few bits. And it's nice not to have to do that. However, I have got the old red clipboard out, and I'm off to the wholesalers first thing tomorrow morning to get stuff for the other side of the shop, which is a never-ending thing. But hey, it's cool. It's all good. So what am I doing? Well, I'm going home. Oh, a few bits that came in that I haven't mentioned today. One was a film that Dominic mentioned over the weekend, to be honest. And as soon as he mentioned it, I thought, I can't believe I haven't got that movie. It's insane. And the movie's insane, quite frankly. It is The Hourglass Sanatorium. Yeah, that notorious Polish film from 1973. Mr. Bongo put out on Blu-ray. And here it is. Wow. So yeah, looking forward to that. That will be popular. So that's pretty cool. And also I got a VHS tape in. And I couldn't not get this VHS tape because just look at that cover. That cover just says, "Rent me." I don't know what the perspective is like on that cover. It's just bonkers. But yeah, it's Incident at Deception Ridge. It's written by Randy Cornfield, which one is the greatest name I've ever heard, and two, he wrote Jingle All the Way. It stars Michael O'Keefe, Ed Begley Jr., and Miguel Ferrer. So that's pretty cool. What am I watching? What are you watching, Dave? What are you watching on your day off? Well, I'm going to take two things. Out of the new stack that came in, the film that really does appeal to me because I've never seen it before, it's The Stuntman. So that's my first rental this week. I'm going to watch it in 4K UHD. And I might even have an alcoholic beverage with that. So yeah, looking forward to that. So Stuntman is my rental for tonight. Then tomorrow, you know me, I love a man in uniform. Here's a tape that I'm going to be renting. I've mentioned this before on the show, and I still haven't got around to watching it, but I know it's been mentioned on Pure Cinema Podcast a couple of times. It's meant to be a hell of a piece of Canadian exploitation, Canexploitation, as they call it. So really looking forward to that. I'm going to knock up an essay for the Schlock Pit on that at some point before the week is out as well. But yeah, that is it. So the lights are off, the door is locked. I'm going to count some money, if there's any in the till. And then, yeah, I'm going to end the week and enjoy, maybe, a Wednesday day off. Want me toast? Let me toast. Watching The Stuntman. Didn't quite see it last night. Fell asleep. Such is the curse of Tuesday nights, really. Great movie. Great movie. Really want to watch more Richard Rush films, especially the ones from the early 70s. I think there's one with Elliot Gould from about 1970. It looks really, really cool. So welcome to Wednesday morning. It's pre-9 o'clock, which is just, it's an invasion of my human rights, quite frankly. And yeah, watching a movie. Does anyone else watch movies in the morning? Or do you consider it pure filth? I love it. I was speaking to Neil on Monday, and he was saying how he starts watching films at 5:30 in the morning, which is admirable. But no, it's funny. My dad always took the mickey out of me for watching films in the morning. He couldn't understand it. He's like, what are you doing? Why are you just watching a film in the morning? I don't get it. I love it because it's free time. When you get up in the morning, you do pretty much nothing for an hour or so while you have your breakfast and you wake up and all that kind of thing. Use that time. And I guess, if you're obsessive about movies like all of us are, I think you just tend to fit one in whenever you can. And I've always tried to do that. I enjoy it. It's great to watch a movie before work. It's brilliant. And also, if you, once you get to a certain age, you do begin to nod off in the evening at a certain time. So it's great to sort of finish anything that's over 75 minutes in duration. That's kind of my limit. But no, this is a great film. Brilliant release from Radiance. So yeah, today it's off out and about over to Liverpool, doing some wholesaling, doing some pickups, and then into work in the afternoon, even though it's my day off, to pick up some post and do a few bits for inside the video store. And that's it, really. So, it's a day off, but it's not a day off. But every day is a day off. People say to me, "Oh, Dave, when was the last time you had a holiday?" So, well, I had a holiday about 22 years ago. And that was enough. People say, "Oh, no, but you need a holiday." I don't need a holiday. Like, I genuinely don't need a holiday. Every day of my life is a holiday. I'm very, very fortunate, very, very privileged, and have no voice. But it's true. Every day is a holiday. I'm very, very fortunate. Just to wake up in the morning, watch a movie, talk about movies all day, and then come home and watch more films. It is a perfect, state of affairs, quite frankly. So I can't complain. Anyway, I'm going to try and wake up. I'm going to have my breakfast, have my coffee, which is set over there. And then we're going to try and do a little bit of work today. You can come if you want. It's not very interesting. But, well, it's up to you. I'm going to see the end of my film anyway, which is great. Well, hey, on the road again, as Willie Nelson once said. So over in Liverpool, pretty much on the Dock Road, going to one of my wholesalers, a few people say to me, we'd like to know a little bit more about this other side that you do. And to be honest, it's kind of nice to keep them separate. It's weird, these two sides of the store have run in tandem for the last 30 years. And it's like the old phrase, never the twain shall meet, because, so many people come in for greetings cards and they don't even know that I rent movies, and so many people come in to rent movies and they don't really know I do greetings cards. It's funny. People are quite blinkered in some respects into, they want a certain thing, and, they don't really have that peripheral vision to look around, which I don't mind. I quite like it. Because, it's like this. I go to 3 wholesalers in total. One in Manchester, one in Haydock, and one in on the Dock Road in Liverpool. And it's quite funny because I've been coming here for 20 years. I know them well. We're all on first name terms, and there's no idea that I rent movies for a living. So it's kind of like having a secret life, doing all this sort of thing. I quite like it. But yeah, unfortunately, where movies are concerned, you can kind of do everything from the comfort of your own chair in terms of picking films up. But with these things, you've got to get out and about. And so it is quite time consuming. It's pretty much 3 Wednesdays out of 4 every month. You have to pick everything up by hand, which is fine. I don't mind. I quite enjoy it. It gets me out. So yeah. But thankfully, this is one Wednesday that isn't too arduous. It's literally just a few £100 worth of stock that's been sold over the last few weeks. Because different suppliers, you see, specialize in different areas. So this place in Liverpool is specialist in balloons. So this is pretty much my universal balloon wholesaler. So I've got a list of what to get. Shouldn't be here more than an hour and a half, I wouldn't have thought. And then that'll be it. So yeah, you can say, oh, but it just ruins your day off. It doesn't really, because I like these people. I like to see them. I like having a nose at what's new stock they've got. And like I say, it gets me out the house. It gets me away from the TV. So I don't mind it, in all honesty. It can become a bit of a chore at Christmas. Throughout December, I'm open every Wednesday. Therefore, I'm out getting stock around about 6:30 in the morning, which can be a little bit of a long day. But this is a walk in the park. It's just an hour and a half on a Wednesday, popping over the water, as they say, around this neck of the woods. And yeah, it's good fun, to be honest. And as I say, I'm a control freak, and I like to be in control over every single aspect of the store, and what we have, and what we get, and what we buy. So yeah, good fun. Lunchtime, and I have a confession to make. One of my real guilty pleasures on YouTube. When you watch a film and you're just like, you're not that tired to go to bed, so you kind of like watch crap for 20 minutes. One of my real guilty pleasures are the food reviewers on YouTube. I love them. There's a guy called Gary Eats, who is really just a really nice guy, and I like the way he reviews like different restaurants and takeaway places. There's a guy called Danny who also reviews food, and I don't know what it is. It's just I really, really like watching these videos. Normal people going into normal places and ordering food and kind of giving them the lowdown, genuine opinion. So I think what I could do on my Wednesdays, obviously every Wednesday lunchtime I have lunch out. So I'm thinking I could do that. I could set up like a sister YouTube channel to inside the video store, and I could do, days dinners. No, got it. Maybe no. Well, here we have Wingstop. Wingstop has just moved into Liverpool. I'm at Liverpool Shopping Park. Really, really recommendable place. Great welcome when you walk in. And they're like, have you been here before? What can we tell you about the menu? Do you need any? Brilliant service, really brilliant service. And I got fries originally, their own brand of fries, which smell fantastic. We have a ranch dressing, and only one napkin. That's going to get messy. See, Roxy told me, do not eat wings in your car, Dave. Don't eat wings in your car. And I probably should have listened. And here we have the pièce de résistance. These are the wings. All kinds of variety of wings. God, this is going to get messy. I went for boneless, just for simplification. There's 8 different flavors of wings. So there's like very mild, tangy, fruity, and then up to mega hot. I'm not into like the mega hot stuff. Just doesn't float my boat. So I've gone for original. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. This is rock and roll, baby. This is the high life of a video store owner in 2026. This is the prize. This is lunch out on a Wednesday in my car, eating chicken wings, boneless, and fries. It doesn't get better than this, does it? this is the life. Anyway, I'm not going to film myself eating because that would be just too gratuitously awful. I will report back on Liverpool Wingstop and see if maybe we could perhaps get a lucrative sideline going in Wednesday food reviews. Back with Dave's dinners shortly. Corporate coffee. Corporate coffee again. Oh, he's such a bad individual. That was good. That was good. I heartily recommend Wingstop in Liverpool. I think there's 2 branches in Liverpool. There's one in Lord Street in the city centre. And I think, obviously, there's a second one here. But this shopping park is way better than it used to be. Not that I'm some kind of expert on Merseyside shopping parks, but I used to pop over here, obviously, on the way back from my wholesalers in years gone by. And, you would invariably have either McDonald's or Greg's if you wanted a quick bite on the way home. And now you have literally everything here, which isn't great because I hate shopping parks because ultimately they're taking business away from villages. I mean, it's wrong for me probably as an independent business to go to a corporate outlet when I should in fact be nipping into Bevington and supporting a local cafe. But hey, I think it's a matter of we're never gonna all do one specific thing. It's nice in principle to think, well, I'm just going to go to independent businesses. We're not going to do that ultimately, because our world isn't really built for that anymore. But I think we should mix it up. So go local sometimes, go corporate if needs be. And personally, for me today, it's just convenient. I'm on the way home to the store to do a bit of video store work, and it's just easy to kind of grab and go. But yeah, it was a good wing. Original flavor is just hits the spot. Not too hot, not too mild. But yeah, one napkin is a kind of a letdown, and the fork was a little bit flimsy. These things matter. Anyway, apologies for this. We've kind of gone off-piste because, you've tuned into a video about movies, and probably for the last 11 minutes, all you've seen is me waffling on a Wednesday about absolute bollocks. So apologies for that. But hey, you do a video diary, a life in the week, a week in the life, and you gotta show the nuts and bolts. You gotta show the lot. So you regret asking for this. You regret. You'll be yawning to yourself now. You'll be watching this thinking, Jesus, we're past an hour, and he's only on Wednesday. There's still 2 days to go. And you'll be thinking, why did we ask for this? Next time, just tell him to do a Q&A. Just keep it simple. Just do a Q&A. Jesus, Dave. We're not interested. As soon as you leave the shop at 7 o'clock at night, we don't care what you do. Which is probably true, and which should be true, because I have an insanely boring life, which probably for the next 30 minutes will be sat on Edge Lane in traffic. So yeah, anyway, got my wholesaler stuff, all good. Nice to say hello to the ladies and gentlemen over there, who are very, very good people, independent business. And we're just going to sit in Edge Lane now for half an hour before we go home. I think I've had 5 parcels delivered to Not Just Fruit, the shop next door, who have been kind enough to take in my Wednesday deliveries every week. Vinegar Syndrome has shipped as well, importantly. Late this month, it's the 24th today. So yeah, really, really late. But thankfully this Vinegar Syndrome should be here on Monday. So next week's episode will largely be looking at what's new from Vinegar Syndrome, and there's some very, very exciting stuff. And I've just been listening to a podcast with one of their guys who's saying that they have, in their warehouse in Connecticut, they have between 30 and 50,000 reels of film. Jesus, just think of what's in there. Think of the content. That is absolutely extraordinary. So yeah, Vinegar Syndrome in next week, so that will be the big thing. I'm just going to pre-order some bits from Severin when I get home as well. The new Andy Milligan set of films that have been lost, and the 2 Italian Indiana Jones rip-offs, Hunt for the Golden Cobra, wasn't it, and Jungle Raiders. So they'll be in on 4K UHD hopefully by mid-March, end of March. No, end of March, beginning of April. And it's also a day for catching up with Warner Archive. So I'm going to order the last 2 months worth of Warner Archive and Film Master stuff when I get in as well. So hopefully that should be in for mid-March. And that should see us hopefully up to date. But that's it. I'm going to drink my corporate coffee after my corporate wings. And yeah, we'll catch up in store. And we'll pretend that the last 10 minutes never, ever happened. Well, hey, assume the position, the friendly position, the happy position. I realise now that we are up to around about an hour and 10 minutes. Apologies for that. Should have split this in 2. Never mind. You'll regret it. I'm only doing this so you'll regret it and you'll never ask for it again. Enter store. Parcels. So we'll open those and we'll just have a quick look through the comments. So 10 minutes max. Give me 10 minutes. And then we'll move on to Thursday. Thursday, I'm just going to show you what I do in terms of putting everything away and finding space for everything. So that will be quite a quick cut video. And while I'm opening these parcels, I have a few questions that people have sent in that I will just go through and we'll have a look at those. So yeah, it's just gone 7 p.m. We're still going. Jesus. I think you joined me around about 8:40 in the morning. And now it's 7 p.m. and we're going home. We still haven't seen the end of the Stuntman, by the way, which is just outrageous. I'm going to open that one last because that one's special. So what do we got? What do we got in this exciting... Thank you very much to Not Just Fruit, by the way, who have been my faithful next door neighbour for 25 years, 30 years, which is nice. Same people, always good to say hello. Okay, what do we got? What have we got? Okay, sorry, you're going to be disappointed with this one. I'm still on the true stories, but I'm literally on the last 2. I think the last 2 are here today. The last 2 true stories. This looks fantastic. I think I've seen it, but genuinely fantastic. It's Jamie Lee Curtis and Alan Bates. A true story that will move you beyond tears. Beyond, we all need to go beyond tears from now. And again. But yeah, it is Nicholas's Gift. Jamie Lee Curtis and Alan Bates, Nicholas's Gift. Superb. Questions. How can you fit more films in? How can you do it? How can you fit more films in? Ridiculous. How can I fit more films in? And it's tricky. I always look ahead. I always look ahead, think ahead, and try and, envisage where things are going to go in the future. It is becoming difficult, but then again, I think there's always room for improvement. I've got loads and loads of mainstream films under the window, and they so rarely move. They so rarely rent out, and they don't pull anyone in, really, aside from maybe if there's a sequel to John Wick, and people say, "Oh, I want to watch John Wick 1, 2, and 3." So yeah, okay. Or there's something. Maybe there's Wuthering Heights in the box office, and there's a recent Wuthering Heights there, and people are like, "Oh, I want to see that one." But I don't know. So I'm thinking whether that is a long-term thing, or whether I could store all those films in the back and then just have them, on demand. Say if people say, "Oh, we got John Wick, yeah, give me 2 seconds, so I just can't go and grab it out of the back," because that isn't really a browsing space. So yeah, that's something. Now, I just did a interview with, as you know, Jan Mahayan, who I was talking about on Tuesday morning, and he was saying that he wanted his film, The Little Death, to be his last seduction. And it just occurred to me that I only have Last Seduction on DVD as an old DVD as well. So I really, really wanted this Blu-ray, which is out of print because Network released it. Network Releasing released it. And they are, of course, kaput. And this, yeah. So yeah, I was desperate for this Blu-ray. I know imprints have just brought one out, but this will do me just fine. It's a film I've never seen. And I thought, well, this week or maybe early next week, I'm going to double bill Red Rock West and Last Seduction. I have a John Dahl double bill. So yeah, that's really very cool. It's a film that I should definitely have in on Blu-ray. So that's that. Next one, what do we got? When will I retire? Is someone after my job? When will I retire? I don't know, really. I've always said that, you know, my dad worked here until he was 80. And I don't want to do that, you know. I don't want to be working here when I'm 80 and when I'm decrepit. Well, no, not decrepit. My dad was never decrepit. But I don't want to work here when I'm 80. You know, I would like to have some freedom to do some things. You know, I said I think I told, when Jake was here doing his documentary, I said to him that, oh, you know, I'd love to go to LA and go to New Beverly and things like that. And I would hate to die and not do that. So, I mean, it's simple things. I know I said about holidays, but, you know, I think, I don't know, maybe 10 more years of this. We'll see. But at the moment, it's a drug at the moment. It is an absolute drug. I can't get enough of it. But I guess that's just because things at the moment are quite good. You know, if things did take a downturn in time, and I must admit there was an article in the LA Times on Tuesday, I know a lot of you read it, to say that DVDs are the new vinyl. It's a badly worded title because it's not DVDs, it's Blu-ray and 4K UHD. But I can't see any sign of this resurgence stopping or slowing. So as long as this continues, I mean, it is like a dopamine hit into my forearm. It really is. And it's the most exciting time. You know, I've worked here since May 2003, since I left Blockbuster. And since May 2003, it's 23 years this May, I have never been more excited to be here. I've always appreciated being here. I always liked being here. But right now, with the buzz that comes each day, I have never been more excited to be here. And I can't see that slowing down soon, but we will see. Right, what have we had? Well, Olivier Assayas is really, really popular at the moment. You know, the Arrow Boxer that I got in, Irma Vep, Demon Lover, and the other one is really popular. And I know a few customers are going through a couple of more of his films. So I got Clean from the old addiction. I got Clean in this week, which I've never had before. And it looks great. I bypassed me, Nick Nolte, Beatrice Dahl, Maggie Chung, and I thought, well, let's finish that Olivier Assayas section off with Summer Hours with Juliette Binoche. And then they look great, Assayas and Celine Sciamma next door to each other there. So I thought, yeah, let's crack on with that and let's get that in. Another true story. I mean, look at the cast in this. It is Robert Englund and Leah Thompson. Robert Englund and Leah Thompson. Amazing. It's the unspoken truth. He committed a deadly crime. She confessed to it. Now, she has changed her mind. Can't get enough of that stuff. Can't get enough of it. So yeah, that's that. What do we got in here? Oh, we have good wrapping on this. Good wrapping, people. Impressive. Oh yeah, that's something I'm going to get to a little bit later. So, excuse me. Right, next question. What do we got? Was this your dream? No. Next question. No, it wasn't. This was a complete chance. I know a lot of you know the story, so apologies for repeating myself. Apologies for slicing my fingers open. No, I went to uni. I got a history degree. And I had originally hoped to be a teacher, mainly brought on by my parents, mainly brought on by peer pressure. I went to a grammar school, so everyone at the grammar school had a careers advisor and was meant to do a fairly, a fairly, a normal job, a normal career, and you're meant to think ahead and think of career paths and all that kind of thing. And I just didn't know what to do, and I thought, well, I'll be a teacher. So that was my idea. So I got a degree in history at Nottingham. And I got back, and to be honest, uni wasn't for me. It was for me because we had a video store in Nottingham, in Clifton, that was fantastic. And that changed my life in many respects, and got me through university. But I got back from uni in 1998, and I was like, oh, I don't want to go back and do a PGC just yet. I'm not ready for that. I want to take a year out. So I said to my mum and dad, oh, I'm just going to take a year out. I'm going to stay at home, take a year out, and just, sort of see some friends, drink some beer, and that kind of thing. And lo and behold, I had one job up. I applied to one job. I've only ever applied for one job in my entire life. I applied for one job, which was a Blockbuster video, and I got the job. I started on 10 hours a week in September 1998. And 12 months later, I was a store manager. They must have been desperate. And to be honest, the money and the responsibility just got a hold of me, to be honest. But then, I don't know, it just kind of went tits up around about 2003. And I wasn't getting anywhere. I wanted to go somewhere with a job, but it just wasn't happening. It just wasn't happening. I wanted either a bigger store, or I wanted a different location, or just something, I couldn't see. I kept on getting fobbed off. So I thought, I'm going to give it up. So I kept on moaning to my parents, like the spoiled child that I was. And my mum said, well, your dad's 60 now. Come on, yeah. See if, he might be retiring. Would you be interested in, in Snips? And I was like, yeah, I can give it a go. And I just thought, well, wouldn't it be nice, bit of dad-son time and learn the business? And it was fairly quiet. So that was it, really. So May 2003 came here, and that was it. That was it. So what do we got here? Well, to be honest, I got bombarded for this. Literally 3 people on Saturday asked me for this film, and I didn't have it. Outrageous. And it is Wuthering Heights with Laurence Olivier. Obviously, the new one is at the theatre right now. And I've got 2 versions in, but I don't have this version. I feel as though this is the version. It's directed, of course, by William Wyler. Mel Oberon is in it. David Niven is in it. So I thought, yeah, let's make an effort to get this one in. So that's the original, not the original, but, one of the best adaptations of Wuthering Heights that dates from 1939 with Laurence Olivier. These are from CEX, by the way, who at the moment are stomping on eBay for prices. Absolutely stomping. This was something. Did someone ask me for this, or did I just? I think the VHS popped up on eBay, and I thought, I don't think I've got that film, and it looks like an absolute riot. I've never seen it. I know someone like Paul Griggs will have seen it, but it's Sean Connery. It's Natalie Wood. Do you know what it is yet? Carl Malden. It is Meteor, directed by Ronald Neame from 1979. It just looks like an absolute riot. Henry Fonda's in it as well. And yeah, I just thought, yeah, I fancy a bit of that. A bit of Meteor. I'm opening these in a second because they are connected to the big one. Right, next question. Was this your dream? What would you have been instead? Oh, well, I told you that. I would have been a really bad high school teacher, lecturing people on the Industrial Revolution. Outrageous. How thrilling. What's the worst part of the job? Worst part of the job. Worst part of the job is when people come in for something obvious like Wuthering Heights with Larry Olivier, and I don't have it. I hate letting people down. I like when people come in for a film, like when Jake was coming in for City on Fire, week after week after week, and Danny had it on loan and he'd gone on holiday. I hate that because you feel a bit powerless. So yeah, I hate letting people down. That's the worst part of the job. It's a rarity, not many people come in and they're like, nah, I've seen everything. But it's that kind of thing where I just hate. I don't know. I think it's just standards. I think I have a horrible propensity to set stupidly high standards. And I think that stems, this is like a psychiatry session, and I think that stems from me being a control freak. But hey, we all have our vices. Another true story, but this just looks too good to refuse. It's Dead by Sunset. It didn't make it to DVD in this country. Directed by Karen Arthur. It stars Ken Olin and Annette O'Toole. And it's just a 3-hour epic. It's an 18 certificated true story. So I just need to know more about this because it looks like it is something that just vanished. Released by Odyssey in the UK on the 29th of July 1996. A dealer price £45. Bargain. So that's Dead by Sunset, another new tape. Cool. And then finally we have this. Looking forward to this. As you know, I'm always looking for new ideas. So I thought of a new section because a couple of us have been kind of besotted with this director. Not besotted. Intrigued by this filmmaker because he's had such a varied career. Like, insanely varied career. And I just want to know more. Like, the people I'm attracted to in filmmaking terms are the journeymen. The journeymen that do a little bit of everything. Like the Gary Gravers, like who go from porn to exploitation. Like John Hayes, who goes from exploitation to porn. Like David Dakota, who goes from porn to exploitation. And now Christmas movies. So yeah, this guy hasn't done porn, but he has made a huge variety of films. Best part of the job. Community. Meeting such genuinely amazing people. The last 2 years, I've met people who, it's almost like a family. It really is almost like a family. I've met some people who genuinely, when they come in through the door, it makes my day. Because great, I get to hang out with this person for 20 minutes, half an hour or more. And it's just great. It is so cool because it can be an isolating thing. I know some of you don't have a place like this near you. I know you're all online. But if you have a niche taste in films, if you don't like comic book movies or generic box office fare, being obsessed with films can be an isolating experience. It can sometimes feel as though, I'm the only one that likes these films. So meeting so many people over the last 2 years as the business has gradually grown, and meeting so many people I feel as though they're like me. It's been so heartening. It's so nice to really be passionate about films to other people that they know about. And it's great to learn from other people about films that I don't know about. So that's the best part of the job. Just the way the community has grown over the last 2 years. It has been absolutely brilliant. And like I say, I have more customers now than ever before. And I would say, I don't think there's one of them who I don't look forward to seeing week in, week out. Which in retail is a very rare thing. Okay, so this is my guy. You know this guy. But I want to do a deep dive into his career, and I'm thinking of a section devoted to him because I think he deserves it, because he has had just a wild and crazy career. Do you know who it is yet? I need to stop doing those Rolf Harris impressions. Really do. That's so problematic. Right. Pregnant pause. Pregnant pause. They really packed this well, which is good to see. It's an imprint box set, who are just a great label. I see they've announced their new box set of TV movies, Volume 5, which includes Killdozer. Killdozer is coming to Blu-ray. Here we go. It's Sidney J. Furie. It's Sidney J. Furie. I mean, this guy is wild. You know him of recent times for, starting to shoot Knights of the Juggler. He started life making films with Cliff Richard. And then he did, obviously, many, many war films. The Taking of Beverly Hills he did. Just such a wide variety of remarkable movies. I just thought, I need to really get into this guy. He sounds like an amazing filmmaker. And he has such a specific style in terms of how many setups he has, how many cameras he has, and the way he films an action scene. So this is the box set from Imprint, which has 5 of his films, 4 of which I have never had in this store. We have Sheila Levine is Dead and Living in New York from 1975 with Roy Scheider and Jeannie Berlin, which sounds amazing. We have The Boys in Company C, which I'm sure you will all know, as that's been in the war film section for quite some time. We have Hit, blaxploitation movie with Billy D. Williams and Richard Pryor. Nuts. Variety. We have The Lawyer. Barry Newman is in this from Vanishing Point, and this one dates from 1970. And from the same year, also in 1970, is Robert Redford and Michael J. Pollard in Little House and Big Halsey. So yeah, just what a bizarre variety of films. And that's not all. I mean, I've also got loads of his films in stock anyway. There's 2 Dolph Lundgren films down there, for goodness sake. But these are 2 more that I thought, it's just incredible. I've got to get these in. This is a Western that he did with Marlon Brando and John Saxon called The Appaloosa. It's been released via Koch Media in Germany on Blu-ray. Let's flip that around so we don't see the certification. Yeah, it's called The Appaloosa. This one is from, I don't know, 1966. So, I mean, what a run. But yeah, The Appaloosa on German Blu-ray. And there's this one as well from 1984, I think. Purple Hearts with Ken Wall, who of course was in Taking of Beverly Hills, and Cheryl Ladd. Purple Hearts on Warner Archive. So, I mean, just an absolutely wild career. So I thought, yeah, I need to celebrate you. So there we are. That's your lot for today. That's your lot for today in terms of deliveries. God. I think I'm the only person that fills my recycling bin every week. Cool. I can't wait to get stuck into those. That's so exciting. Right, we'll quickly run through some comments. I say most of these comments are people entering the Swamp Thing competition, and we will draw that tomorrow, so you will know the winner as soon as you watch this video. Who have we got? Ben has entered, Benno has entered, P. Shack has entered. Go Jazz says he hopes the true stories are renting. Not yet, Go Jazz, but give them time. I'm just pleased to know they're here. Roxy says you should definitely have a balloon for the 100th episode. I should have done, shouldn't I? See, maybe the 200th. We'll do it then. Good time for the page to freeze. Matt makes a good point. He says that we're saying about the Hammer movies I was complaining that I bought one and it wasn't dual format, but Matt corrects me and says they start as dual format, but when that sells out, they put out separate format special editions. So that's handy to know. That's handy to know. Now, rear view news on the subject of Swamp Thing, says that he was lucky enough to meet Adrienne Barbeau and get a press photo of her and Harry Dean Stanton, signed by her, which is already signed by Harry Dean Stanton. Already that he has The Fog and Escape from New York on Blu-ray, so I'm desperate for Swamp Thing to add to your collection. Well, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. So that's really cool. Laptop is playing up slightly. Brick build, get the kettle on. Dave's uploaded. John Hughes says, Dave, without doubt, a Q&A would be awesome. Hopefully, I've just done that to some degree, John. John says he can't wait to start watching the Zatoichi films. Well, Paul has started on the Zatoichi films, so it's great to see those going out. Now, Jonah Fish says that his wife and him are going to Los Angeles next month, and on the top of his list is going to see a movie at the New Beverly. Can't wait for the calendar release to see what will be what we will be seeing there. That's so exciting, Jonah Fish. Send us some photos, Jonah Fish. I want to see those photos of the New Beverly, and tell me what you end up going to see. That is so exciting. I'm envious. Enjoy. Yeah, Freddie, who won the competition. No, Freddie, everyone who won the Crash and Burn competition, the two people, one of you is in. I'm going to get this right. You won't believe this. One of you is in. I don't know. It's on my phone. I forget. But it's a European country, which I did not think I had any viewers in. And, of course, Freddie is... where were you again, Freddie? Belgium. Do you know Jan Verheyen, Freddie? You probably do. You probably do. God, why is this on the fritz? But yeah. Where are we here? But yeah, I'll get those videos sent out ASAP. But what I'm going to do is, depending on who wins the competition, we will do that. We will look at the we will post them out together, because that just makes life easy, to be honest. Oh, I want Swamp Thing, says Verlaine. Been eyeing that for a while, but I'm in Estonia. How wonderful. Fantastic. Yeah, Freddie, if I could beam to other places, you would gain one hell of a daily customer. I can dream. After watching Marty Supreme and liking it a lot, I'm going to lay on the couch and put in the Dungeon Master. Enjoy the commentary, Freddie. Just to make sure my brain keeps up with great movies. Episode 100 did the best boutique release of each label, and why? I don't care if it will be a long episode. I think you will, Freddie. I think you will. Zephyr said, you should run a sweepstake for how long the 100th episode will be. 3 hours with an intermission is my guess. We're getting there. Oh yeah, and Big Al. Maybe for episode 100, some footage of a normal Snips workday would be great. Yeah, that worked out well, didn't it, Big Al? And finally, Dan Turner says, the Zatoichi set is fantastic. The matchup films are fun. Zatoichi meets Yojimbo, Zatoichi and the One-Armed Swordsman. My favorite is probably Zatoichi Goes to the Fire Festival, with Tatsuya Nakadai essentially replaying his evil Sword of Doom character. It's good to know. And also Dan says you don't have to watch them in chronological order. So that works for me. I can dip in and dip out. And James says that the Zatoichi box set looks really, really cool, and he may need to rent that at some point. I hope you do, James, because it looks fantastic. And finally, Chris Ward says Sisu Road to Revenge is great fun. Does what a sequel should do and goes totally over the top. It's just as good as the first one. That's good. It's been renting well, to be honest, and I'm probably thinking I should have got a second copy. But hey. Right, that's it for me for today. Tomorrow, Thursday. Join me tomorrow. And yeah, we'll put all this stuff on the shelf. It's a lot to put away, but hopefully we can fit it all in. I reckon we should be all right. So yeah, join me for that and enjoy the process of moving the store around and fitting things in, which is kind of, it's an organic, orgasmic, wonderful feeling that I enjoy every Thursday. So it'll be nice to share that. I will see you tomorrow. Morning. Thursday. So today is putting away day. Need to clear this. The longer this stays untouched, the more things pile up and the more chaos begins. Plus, what we want is everything on the shop floor. We don't want anything kept behind. We want people to be able to browse everything. So we split it into two. We've got the contemporary releases here, and then we have the library releases, which will somehow go in the archives somewhere. Contemporary releases will go on the new release wall, and the split in again to two lots. We have the lead release, which takes 2 spaces. So 2 Blu-ray on 1 space and DVD on a single space. And then we have the singles, 1, 2, 3. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. Let's go and do that. And welcome to the new release wall. The new release wall has basically adhered to the same principle for the last 30 years. Every new film goes on at the beginning, like so. And then they run chronologically down to the end of the new release wall. Now, bear in mind, 30 years ago, the new release wall went down to here. No, it doesn't. Now it's half that length because I get pretty much half, well, just under the number of new releases I used to get. So in this final part of the new release wall, these are the older titles. So, as I say, I need 5 spaces, but 1 is for a lead title. Now, the lead titles go on a strip right across the center. So there we go, 2 by 2 by 2. You know, they're all got maximum kind of representation. So my 2 oldest ones here are Flow and Sinners. Well, Sinners is too hot at the moment, so I'm going to take Flow off. There we go. So that's 2 spaces. Now we need the spaces for the 3 singles. So it's not scientific, to be honest. It's just a case of looking at this final section of the new release wall and thinking, what has stopped renting? I mean, some of it's self-explanatory. Black Bag is out. Nosferatu is out. Complete Unknown is out. Perfect Days is constantly out. So I'm going to take off Queer, which seems to have slowed somewhat. I'm going to take off The Salt Path, which has died completely. And then I'm going to take off, A Real Pain. Great film, but it's stopped renting. So there is my 5 spaces. So now it's just a case of moving those up to create space at the very end. And now we have my sole bit of exercise for the week. Literally been doing this once a week, every week, for 30 years. Although I do think to myself that, you know, back when I was doing this in 1998, it was in one of the biggest Blockbuster stores in the country, which had a new release wall that felt like the size of a football pitch. So that was an ass to do every Monday. And like I say, this new release wall has shrunk, so it's far, far, far easier than it was. But yeah, not the most taxing thing. Shift all those right up, and then we'll have a nice strip of 5 empty spaces. There's your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. Predator goes in line with that strip as being one of the lead titles, so it's good to have that band right across the center, really at the impact eyesight level. You know, I'm going to put Hellfire down here because it's a DVD, and then it really is, you know, I would consider that space to be more of a better real estate than that space. So I'm going to go for Emma Thompson, and I'm going to go for the Norwegian ugly stepsister there. And that's the new release well done. But now, what happens to the films that I've just taken off? Okay, I know what you're thinking. We have the Pedro Almodovar film. You didn't take that film off, Dave. Well, I took Flow off, but Flow came from the strip, that big strip of key titles. It's too big to slot into the library, so that slots in one of the single spaces. So I've combined a DVD copy and a Blu-ray copy, and I've put those in replacement of Pedro Almodovar. So Pedro Almodovar is going to go down behind the camera in the Spanish Pedro Almodovar section. Queer, what's going to happen with Queer? Well, what I'm going to do with Queer, I'm going to take the DVD out, I'm going to de-sleeve it like that. I'm going to walk over here. I'm going to get a clear master bag. I'm going to put Queer in the clear master bag, slot it in with the Blu-ray, and then we've downsized 2 copies to 1 copy. That will get filed away in my spare sleeves. That will go in my spare cases. And this single copy will go in the Queer Cinema section, which again is just behind the camera. The same thing will happen with Salt Path. So it's just a case of downsizing. I don't want these titles to take 2 spaces. They can't justify it. So we'll de-sleeve it, sleeve there, case there, grab a clear master bag from behind the counter, pop the DVD in there, like so. DVD goes in with the Blu-ray, and there effectively we have our own dual format edition of the Salt Path. That will go under the window in the generic kind of best of the last 10 years section. Real pain. It didn't come out on DVD. We just have a Blu-ray. Nothing to do to that. That will join Salt Path in alphabetical order in the section below the window. Okay, so here we are in this expanse under the window. Like I said yesterday, I just don't know whether I can justify keeping so many of these films, because they don't shift. I think at the moment I just have a handful of these movies out. You know, Good Vibrations is out on loan. The Hate You Give is out on loan as well. But aside from that, oh, no, Beast is overdue. So yeah, there's not much out. And when a film comes off the new release wall and goes into here, I don't really bother now keeping stuff. So I'll literally look along here and think, what can we afford to lose? And in my opinion, I'm going to lose Savage Justice, that De Niro cameo in a Randall Emmett film, who allegedly is a bit of a crook. So it's not worth keeping that, even though it's De Niro. Even though I like to have every De Niro film, it just doesn't warrant it. I don't think it's rented out more than half a dozen times. It needs to be brutal. I'd rather keep absolute quality than crap. So that's going to go. And then I'm going to get rid of Runner as well. Again, it's one of those films that did fine when it came out, but now it's 13 years old. Probably hasn't rented in 10. I don't think there's going to be much demand for it. So I'm going to get rid of that. So we'll just move these up in alpha order. So Salmon, Fishing will go next to Salt Path. And then R. So Red Sparrow, Red Joan, Real Pain. Slightly tucked in the corner there, but good enough. Good enough. And there we go. So that is pretty much those 2 films put in position. And those will just be removed from the database and destroyed. Oh. Well, hey, here we are with Queer and Pedro. So what I'm going to do here is we have, like in many sections, we have a duff box at the end of a row, like that. And so I'm just going to shift those along in Spain, pop out the body, and then we'll put this new Pedro film next to all his other films. And there we go. So that slots into the Pedro Almodovar section. And then on the other side here, this is the Queer Cinema section. I noticed this, I have a copy of Portrait of a Lady on Fire in the Queer Cinema section when it should be in the Celine Sciamma section. So I'm going to pop this out of the case. Do what I did before and make that Blu-ray dual format. So that gives me a AP, please Bob. So I'm just going to move those along and then pop Queer in between Pride and Room in Rome. And there we go. So that's now everything off the new release wall has been popped into their various sections. And that is one part of the delivery this week done. The next part now is to look at the boutique releases and getting them in good places. Boutiques are fairly self-explanatory. They all have their own place. Having said that, this doesn't have its own place. Stuntman on DVD currently sits in the S part of the archive, but I don't want this to kind of be swallowed up with the masses. So along with Night of the Juggler, I'm going to put it just on top of the Arrows section until I get enough transmission releases to form a separate section. So that's the one oddity. Strong Room will go up in the S part of the archive, and it will replace the DVD that's currently there. Dogtooth will go in the Yorgos Lanthimos section and replace the DVD that is already there. Knights of the Titanic Order will go just to your left in the second run section. I don't have a Radiant section yet. May pluck those out at one point, but again, space is the issue, and I kind of like the way Radiance lifts the World Cinema section, so the jury's out on that. So this Libido will go straight into the Italian part of World Cinema. Iphigenia will go straight into the Greek part of World Cinema. Picture of a Nymph is kind of a multi-genre film, to be honest. But I'm going to put it in martial arts because I think that is really where it belongs. Takashi Ishii, this box set will go with the other Takashi Ishii box set in the third window section. And finally, the Japanese Godfather trilogy will, surprise, surprise, go in the Japanese section of World Cinema. So yeah, we know what we're doing, so we just need to get a little space together for each title and slot it in there. Dead easy, because at the moment, the way I've kind of built units and units and units, there's a fair bit of space to be had within the store. So we're in a good place. I'm just going to make some space for those now. That's it. That's your Thursday. So it's just gone 1 o'clock. All the contemporary releases are away on the new release wall. All the boutique releases are away in their correct places. What I'm going to do this afternoon is just put these Osmonds that came in yesterday that I unpackaged onto the system, onto the database, and then follow a similar kind of routine with those to put them in the correct places. The only question mark is Sidney J. Fury. I don't have a place for him. I would like to build a section for him, so I'm going to scout a few places and see where he could fit, really, because I've got so many of his films in store. It'd be great to put them all together and show the diversity of the kind of work he did. Loads of films have been going out while we've been recording this. Persona has just gone out. The Bergman film Memories of Murder has just gone out on loan. Old Boy. Someone's gone for a bit of nostalgia with Beethoven. Blood Simple. Brighter Summer Day has gone out from the Criterion as well. So it's been a steady little morning. I'm going to have my lunch now, which, as you asked, is sage and onion hand-carved ham with Gouda and a buffalo dressing on wholemeal pita. Homemade sandwiches. Can't beat it. Can't beat it. Not quite Wingstop, but you can't beat it. So yeah, so that's pretty much me for today. Unless anything wild and crazy happens, I will see you tomorrow morning, Friday, for the last leg of this gargantuan patience testing, indulgent video diary. Friday morning. A very tired Dave. A very tired Dave. I was up till the wee hours watching the by-election in Gorton and Denton last night. I know we don't normally do politics here, but that was such an amazing result for Hannah Spencer. Absolutely triumphant. Absolutely triumphant. And it's just nice in a world of divisiveness and hatred to wake up to the politics of hope. It really is such a pleasure, such a change. And let's hope that it's the first of many victories. Okay, so we're going to take a trip through Bebington on my way into work. And interesting little village. We're four and a half miles from Liverpool. About 12 miles from Chester. If I go up to the third floor of Snips Movies and look out the bedroom window, along with the tenant doesn't mind, I can see the North Wales coast. So you're kind of in a strange place. We've got some lovely architecture. This is the 14th century St Andrew's Church that we're passing. And much of Bebington is centred within Bebington Village. It's a town of 50 odd thousand people. And it is very much middle class suburbia. You know, there's nothing remotely, on the face of it, there's nothing remotely, you know, hip and trendy about it. But there just is. I mean, 5 years ago, this town was a supermarket, estate agents, and a couple of takeaways. And that was kind of it, really. It was one of those dying villages that you have everywhere, to be honest. The supermarket went, and people thought that would genuinely be the end of the village. But ironically, that supermarket got divided into 3 separate units. And into those units, we now have a board game place. So a place where people can go and hire board games, sit around tables, and play board games till like 8, 9 o'clock at night. Bulwark Games, it's called, Bulwark, Bulwark Games. And that's a really important piece of the Bebington Village. Next door to that, or a couple of doors down, is Kraken Comics. You know, a comic book store in this village. A comic book store. Genuinely. I mean, this is stuff that you would never even dreamt would work in Bebington. A couple of doors behind me, behind the camera, is Paper and Word. Literally the only fantasy bookstore, the only independent fantasy bookstore in the UK. And they're all within doors of each other. Then opposite, you have Prost, which is like the mega bottle shop that sells beers from all around the world. You have a beautiful tap room down there in the collaboration. And there's other bits as well, other bits and bobs. A sushi bar. A sushi bar in Bebington. What is going on? And it's had this weird gradual evolution. So it's been truly nuts to observe. And it's nice. It's really, really nice. Typically these things don't often, you know, we do get people trying to quash success. So obviously the council, there's a free car park just behind the camera, up the hill a bit, and typically the council want people to pay for that now. So you got a little village with loads of great businesses doing really well, and the only thing the council can do is, oh no, yeah, we don't want that. We want to charge people now to park. That'll really help things. So yeah, typical politicians who just want to cover their own indiscretions with their financial impropriety by putting the weight of expense on regular working people. Absolutely outrageous, disgusting. Yeah, but it's a wonderful little village that is just gradually grown, and it is fantastic. And there's Phil Edwards, who runs the Live for Films website, walking past, which is a really cool website for films, if you ever want to visit. So yeah, that's Bev Village. So where is Snips Movies? It's not here. We have to go somewhere else. And that is the ironic thing about Snips Movies. You would think, well, okay, well, it must be in this hub of kind of cultural explosion. But it's not. It is completely removed from that. So that's Bev Village. But outside of Bev Village, we have to go all the way over here. Past Mayor Park, which is a lovely place to walk the dog and to socialize. Past the Rose and Crown, which is featured in the film, I forgot the name of it, Kelly and Victor. And then we go up the hill to the grammar school. But when people ask me about opening movie rental stores, they'll say, well, you need somewhere student orientated, you need somewhere with a big metropolitan center, cosmopolitan value. But Bevington is not it. Bevington is not that thing that I recommend. It is the complete antithesis of this. The nearest university is in Liverpool. It's not cosmopolitan. I would say it's a 99% white population, which is, pretty beige. Many middle-class people, many Daily Mail readers, many Reform voters. And yeah, it's just, why is it succeeding here? I think it succeeds because of networks. You have a motorway literally half a mile away. You have train stations, 3 train stations in Bevington. Spittal Station, Beb Station, Port Sunlight Station, all enable you to get to Snips Movies in a 15-minute walk. That's the grammar school. And this is the road that Snips is on. This is Cross Lane, a kind of connecting road between 2 main roads. And if you don't want to go between those 2 main roads, you will never know that Snips Movies is here. But it is. It's kind of a little block of shops with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shops on it. And it is that weird kind of block of shops whereby there's never one empty. I mean, we never ever have an empty shop here. It is the strangest phenomenon. When someone closes down, which they don't, because the bakery on the corner there, that's been there for years. Amanda Burns, the hairdresser's next to me, has been there for years. And it is just a weird place where you've got all this free parking outside for, what have we got? Maybe 25, 30 cars. Well, free parking at the moment. You never know with that council. And it just seems to be a bustling row of shops that people can literally drop into, free parking, and then yeah, it just works weirdly. But that's where we are. So you can see, I think just about behind that yellow car, my shutters, and yeah, there is Snips Movies. So when I press this magic button, we can go like that. And you will see the shutters of doom begin to rise. And we have a place to go to work. And that just makes me really excited. Friday today, busy day. Let's go inside and we'll get some music on. Okay, let's put a little 1-bar fire on. Keeps me warm. Let's flick these little spotlights on for a second run over that edge. And we got a spotlight on VHS, and Spotlight 2 on VHS, which is cool. But I like the old World Cinema and Horror lights on. There we go. Oh, we're in pitch black. We're in pitch black. Let's flick this on. Hey. I'll flick the old horror section sign on as well. Oh. Only ever works when I use my right hand. That's not a euphemism. There we go. And then finally, let's get through here. Hey! Well, hey. What we're using today. What we're going for today. What's the choice? Friday. That's an optimistic Friday. What do we want? Optimistic Friday. What are we going for? Oh, it's a tricky one. See, this is the thing that takes me time. This is the thing that's, it's a little bit of French vanilla. Let's go classy. Let's go classy with the old French vanilla. Yeah, I reckon so. Okay, let's get some music on. Bit of the national, I reckon. I love that. I love that little gimmick, this now playing gimmick. I love music, you see, and I think it's nice to spread the word about music. I think it's really important that we all, like films, that we all share recommendations, we all share opinions. I think it helps us to, expand our taste, which is cool. So I'm going to start off with The National today, who I just love that band. So cool. Hold Steady, I was going to go for. Again, a band that I really, really like. Or I was thinking about something more contemporary, like Big Thief, who just one of my go-tos at the moment. Likewise with Ezra Furman, who unquestionably was probably one of the greatest gigs I've ever been to in my entire life. Just before they really, really became well known. They did a gig in the Soup Kitchen, which is a tiny basement in Manchester, to about 250 people, and it was just the most raucous, epic gig that I've been to in my life. However, I would probably also say that Perfume Genius and their gig at the Ruby Lounge in Manchester was equally impressive, just hauntingly beautiful. So yeah, so that's what I'm thinking in terms of music. May also go for, someone like Always. Are you familiar with Always? They're so good. They're so good. Really good. So yeah, I've got a couple of their albums. Or the Beths. The Beths are a great Friday night listen. Where are we here? B. Obviously organised in alphabetical order. Beths are just, stunning. So yeah, I'm not sure. Obviously, my main guy is Todd Rundgren. Are you familiar with Todd Rundgren? I have every one of his albums, and he has just been a complete obsession for the last. Well, I listened to A Wizard, a True Star when I was 16, and ever since then I've just been a Todd head. Incredibly musician. Again, though, never really achieved any kind of mainstream success, which are the type of musicians I like, in a way. We may go for some Zappa. I had a customer come in, American customer of mine, who came in, I think it was last weekend, I was playing Hot Rats. And I don't know which part of America he's from, but he said, and he's getting on, he's older than me, so he must be old. And he said, you know what, I've been to so many different places in the world, and I've never walked into a shop and they've been playing Frank Zappa. This is a new experience for me. So I thought, yes. Or I may go for a compilation. I do love a well-curated compilation, especially put out by Cherry Red, which are all these. Just really cool psych rock orientated stuff. They're so good. And Ace Records as well, I recommend, for having a really well-curated compilation, especially if it's been curated by Bob Stanley, formerly of Saint Etienne. So yeah, we'll have a think. We'll have a think about music, but we'll get a track sorted within the next few minutes. All that's left now, after this introduction to Friday morning, is to do the competition. So let's get that done and announce a winner for Swamp Thing. The last segment. Here we go. Thank you for watching. Sorry it's so long. Happy Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Let's have some winners. Can I please welcome to the stage to draw the competition entries, Shannon Tweed. Big round of applause for Shannon Tweed, please. Thank you. Okay, Shannon, please can you give us 2 winners? We had 16 entries. Please can you give us 2 winners? There is 2, isn't there? Yeah. Please can you give us 2 winners for the Snips Movies Swamp Thing competition? Okay, the first winner of the Swamp Thing competition is, make sure I've got 1, I don't think I have 2. Okay, first winner is, it's Matt Goebel, 1962. Matt Goebel, 1962. Well done, Matt. Send me your address and I will get a Swamp Thing in the post to you. I'll also be posting last week's Crash and Burn discs this week as well. So if you've not received yours, that's why. I'll do them all together. And finally, the second winner of the Swamp Thing competition is, well done, Shannon. Thanks very much. I'll catch up with you later. Second winner is, oh, of course it is. It's Goat Jazz. Goat Jazz is the second winner of the Swamp Thing competition. Well done, you. So that's Goat Jazz and Matt Goebel. Send me your addresses and I will get these Swamp Things over to you. Congratulations. Well done. And congratulations to you for getting to the end of this video. I had a little bet with a few people to say, because obviously, as I said before, I get a percentage to say how many people have watched the whole video. And normally it's pretty high, but today I think it will be quite low. Anyway, well done to you. I will see you next week with a regular show.